All right, this is This Week with Coffee. I don't know, maybe episode 8 or 9 at this point. I'm kind of falling off from doing some of the long form content because of just really just got so sucked into short form stuff and actually having a lot of fun doing it. But doing a lot of the short form stuff makes me forget about the long form. And what I've been more drawn to viewing myself is more long form content and not necessarily the stuff that you see on social media, like old school YouTube, like the vlogging and the different stuff that I really liked when YouTube first came out. And that's kind of what I've been drawn to wanting to make myself. And what I've been doing is I did a challenge for myself personally to do 3 or 4 Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days of like short vlogs from Friday to Monday over the Memorial Day weekend, just documenting whatever it was that I was doing. And what I had been doing prior to that was, like I said, going down the old days YouTube rabbit holes of all the people that I really liked and really enjoyed watching their stuff. And primarily, it's Casey Neistat, like Peter McKinnon, and those guys like that. I love those guys' videos back in the day. And I love just the vlogging stuff of making an ordinary day into something that people can watch and can enjoy. And I think that's, or hopefully, I think that's kind of where everybody else is going to start gravitating back towards because of all just the AI and the optimization and all those things. So I did a little challenge for myself and kind of got sucked into really dedicating time to the short form stuff. And I really want to dedicate more of that same focus of filming a day, putting something together into more of the long form here too. And so kind of go backwards and kind of how I got to this point of wanting to make vlogs or make just day in the life type of stuff is I went and listened to some podcasts with Casey Neistat, and I've been listening to this Rick Rubin podcast. And the one thing that I'm noticing, because we all know who Rick Rubin is, Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, any YouTuber that you probably liked way back in the day, or I don't know, just really anybody who's super creative. One thing that I've noticed that they all have that is kind of a key trait to their creative process is they truly create for what they like. And they don't, I mean, obviously they care people like it, but what they're making it, or the reasons that they're making it, aren't for the views and the comments and all those things that I feel like Instagram really caters to. You like one person's kind of tips and ideas on how to do a reel, then you get recommended 30, 40 people that are just saying the same shit, just regurgitating, holding the microphone, giving you yap tips and things like that, which I think is the whole wrong side of yapping, because the whole point of it is just to come to a camera and talk like this. At least how I think it is. And so I don't want to continuously be inundated with how to optimize what it is that I'm doing for the most likes and comments that I can get. I mean, I care about it, but I really don't give a shit at the same time. What I found over this weekend of making the short-term videos of turning nothing into something is that I actually really like doing that. I like the creative process of something. And what it's kind of drawn me away from is getting sucked into so much of the short form content. And I want to focus on making stuff that I like, and I don't want to focus on trying to optimize for an algorithm or for just getting caught up in the whole Instagram BS wheel of these super awesome, nice cuts and edits and colors and microphones and just super high polished stuff, because that's not really what I even like. I mean, a lot of those videos are cool, but is that really what I want to spend my time watching? Here's a tip on how to talk to people. Here's a tip on how to go viral. I don't, at the true core of me, I really don't care. And then with those podcasts I listen to with the creators that I like, about focusing on creating something that I enjoy. And that's what I want to focus on, and that's all that matters. And I think that if you're someone who's like me, who's starting out making stuff, learning that is going to help you a ton. Because I've learned a lot about myself over the last probably 9 or 10 weeks of making videos. It's that chasing the virality of everything. I mean, the chances of that happening to me are probably pretty slim, because I'm not making the shit that everybody else makes. I'm not going to make a stupid video just to see how many likes I can get so people can follow my page. Because really, followers aren't even really going to matter here pretty soon. If you see how your algorithm works, you don't even see the people that you follow half the time unless you constantly like their stuff. And so what's the point of it all, Then it comes back to the whole creation piece of if you make something that you like, then that's all that matters. And that's what I want to focus on. And so what I want to do more with this page that I have instead of trying to make anything super high polished updates or tip videos, you know, I talk about construction in some of my videos. I mean, in all honesty, I don't like construction. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, I probably will just because it can help some people, but that's not what I really like. You know, I like making stuff, and I want to get better at making stuff. I want to get an actual camera. I want to, you know, take pictures. I want to film stuff. I want to make things about my life. I think that's what I'm going to do. So even if it's not a super popular thing right now of doing any sort of vlogging or whatever else it is that's out there, that's what I'm going to make, because that's the easiest successful stories, I guess you could say, that I can tell. And so instead of doing so much short form content, I think I'm going to bring that whole thought process over to YouTube and do the long form vlog, day storytelling type of stuff, you know? And I feel that I've had this creative person inside me for a really long time, but I haven't really tried to access it or pull that out of myself until I started putting videos just for me on the internet. I'm just talking about random stuff to practice talking to the camera and getting better at speaking. I've improved a ton, and it's kind of helped spark that creative piece inside of me that I think has always been there since I was a kid. But now that I'm older, I'm pulling them up. You know, I'm pulling myself up out of the well and kind of really becoming a version of myself that I'm really liking and enjoying. This has been more of a personal learning journey than anything else in terms of creating or whatever else this is. I'm having a lot of fun, and I feel almost like myself kind of coming out of high school and not figuring out what it is I don't want to do, but I knew I could do something. I kind of had that feeling again. And while I didn't really necessarily go the routes or places that I truly wanted to at high school, now that I'm a full-grown adult with responsibilities and bills and lives that I'm taking care of, you know, I feel that I'm in a good place in time where I can kind of go back and nurture some of the different parts about me now that I'm a little more secure in roots and things like that. And so part of me mentally just feels like a young kid again, trying to do something with myself and make this into something. I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to quit it. And I'm going to make it into at least an enjoyable process of learning about myself. So this is kind of a one-take yap video on YouTube I wanted to make for this week's coffee. Again, I have no coffee. It's 10 o'clock at night. This is the only time that I have to make stuff currently. This is my creative time at night from about 9:30 to midnight is when I kind of dive into whatever it is that I'm making. And that's what I'm going to do with this channel. I'm going to give it all that I got, and I'm just going to document stuff in my life and just have a really good time. So if that resonates with you, follow along, and that's what I'm going to do.